This video is inspired by train enthusiast Jeff Marshall, who did the least used train station in every county. We're doing it on a smaller scale. We're going to look at the least used train station in every London borough. We're doing them in alphabetical order. So we're starting with Barking and Dagenham, and the least used station here is Dagenham Dock, which is not really surprising, seeing there's only two train stations in Barking and Dagenham, the other one being Barking, and so yeah, that just leaves Dagenham Dock. In Barnet, it's New Southgate, although this station is partly also in the borough of Enfield, so the least used station entirely in the borough of Barnet is Cricklewood. In Bexley, it's Slade Green. In Brent, it's Sudbury and Harrow Road, and I have actually used this station, but I was basically the only one there, and it's so close to Sudbury Town Station, so it's not really that surprising that hardly anyone uses it. In Bromley, it's Birkbeck, which I found quite surprising, as I have actually used the station, and there were quite a few other people there. And I think the real reason that I find it so surprising is the fact that it's actually an interchange station between the Southern and the tram stops. But if you actually together combine the passenger numbers from both the train and the tram, overall together it adds up to it not actually being the least used station in Bromley. If you include that, then the least used station in Bromley is Ravensbourne. In Camden, it's South Hampstead, although some people might say that the London Overground doesn't count as National Rail, which, if you don't, in that case, it's Kentish Town, which only by the process of elimination, because there aren't really any sort of quiet stations in the borough of Camden. In Croydon, it's Reedham. In Ealing, it's South Greenford. Now, in Enfield, it was Angel Road before it closed and got replaced by Meridian Water, but I'm not really sure if Meridian Water is as quiet as Angel Road because there aren't really any statistics available. But even if it is, it's probably because it's so new. So if we don't count that, then the least station in Enfield is Cruise Hill. In Greenwich, it's Woolwich Dockyard, which I found quite surprising because it's just one stop away from the busiest train station in Greenwich, which is Woolwich Arsenal. In Hackney, it's Stamford Hill, which is on the London Overground, but virtually every train station in the borough of Hackney is on the London Overground. In Hammersmith and Fulham, it's Imperial Wharf, which isn't really surprising as there are only two train stations in the borough of Hammersmith and Fulham, the other one being Shepherd's Bush. In Haringey, it's Northumberland Park. In Harrow, it's Sudbury Hill Harrow, which I have actually used, but yeah, not surprising considering it's basically next door to Sudbury Hill Station. In Havering, it's Emerson Park, which isn't surprising because it's like a station on the tiny branch of the London Overground between Upminster and Romford. But if you don't count that, then it's Rainham. In Hillingdon, it's West Ruislip, which, yeah, I mean, I know it's got a connection to the tube, but I mean, there aren't really that many train stations in the borough of Hillingdon, and the majority of them are on the TfL rail. In Hounslow, it's Chiswick. In Islington, it's Crouch Hill, but if you don't count the London Overground, then it's Essex Road. In Kensington and Chelsea, it's Kensington Olympia. And again, only two train stations in Kensington and Chelsea, the other one being West Brompton, so not too surprising. In Kingston upon Thames, it's Chessington South, which I find kind of surprising because it's like the nearest station to Chessington World of Adventures. And generally, the end of the line tends to be slightly busier than most of the other stations around that area. In Lambeth, it's Wandsworth Road. That's right, Wandsworth Road Station is in Lambeth, not Wandsworth. But I suppose it's not really surprising that it's in Lambeth because it's, in Clapham on a road that leads to Wandsworth. It's not actually in Wandsworth. But again, if you don't count the overground, then the least used station is Loughborough Junction. In Lewisham, it's Beckenham Hill. Again, I assume that station was in Bromley, but no, it's not. In Merton, it's Morden South, which I have actually used, but again, it's so close to Morden Station that it's not surprising that hardly anyone uses it, and most of the times I've been there, there's been not many other people there. In Newham, it's Woodgrange Park, but if you don't count the overground, then it's Stratford International. Wow, an international station being the least used. That's pretty rare, I'd have guessed. All the train stations in Redbridge are on the TfL rail, and the least used one is Seven Kings. In Richmond upon Thames, it's Fulwell. In Southwark, it's South Bermondsey. In Tower Hamlets, it's Cambridge Heath, but if you don't count the overground, then it's Limehouse. In Waltham Forest, it's Lea Bridge. In Wandsworth, it's Wandsworth Common, which I have actually used, and there were quite a few other people at the station. But I mean, I guess there aren't that many stations, like National Rail stations, in Wandsworth. It's just process of elimination, I guess. In Westminster, it's Marylebone. Well, I mean, not surprising considering there are only 4 train stations in Westminster, the others being Paddington, Victoria, and Charing Cross. So, by elimination, yeah, I would have probably guessed it was Marylebone. And in the City of London, it's City Thameslink.